Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Monday Modcast. How is your day going? How have things been? What did you do today to be better than you did yesterday? Kind of talk, right? So I have a very good friend of mine here to introduce to you guys. This is Mike Wilkinson. He is one of the moderators and somebody in the back end that is a very, very crucial part of the Breathe America team. And we've been looking forward to getting him on for a little while. So now's his chance. So, Mike, introduce yourself.
How's it going? People probably already recognize me. I've been on a few things here, but I'm one of the admins and glad to be here. Figured today, seeing as it's Monday and it's Mental Health Monday and Monday Modcast, we'd talk a bit about both. Get in some mental health and communication stuff, and then we'll go to Q&A.
Mike, I have a question for you.
Okay.
My face moving on camera because yours is frozen.
Let me try to fix that real quick.
Yeah, let's see what we got. What's going on?
I'm not.
See if it'll load him back up. And he's back. Now you're moving. All right. So, yeah, we wanted to talk more in depth about mental health issues and things like that. And I know Mike has got some things he wants to share with you guys. And obviously get the comments going. We will get to the comments when we get a little further along. And I want to apologize, too, for being a little bit late. My son had a football practice today, so I had to go there and then back. And so we're doing this in the middle of practice. So we got a lot of people saying hello. But other than that, Mike, what did you want to discuss as far as mental health?
Well, I kind of wanted to talk about a few of my struggles. I've been in a few comment sections, and I feel like there's a lot of people that need to know that they're not alone. I feel like there's a lot of people that need to hear from people that have been through struggles and have made it through. Found ways to cope, found ways to deal with things productively instead of in ways that put up barriers, put up walls, and honestly harm yourself in the long run. One of those things is a lot of things are a cycle and they self-fulfill. There's people out there with anxiety and depression, and it causes them to stay in their home. It causes them to feel like maybe I shouldn't go to that thing because I'm a downer, and then you push yourself closer away from the people you care about and that care about you. A lot of times, one of the most useful pieces of advice and something that helped me a lot when I was going through a lot of things is to remember not to listen to that voice. It's just like you talk about. Your words have power. And it's not just what you say, it's what side of the battle you allow to win in your head. Because our thoughts are words, and all these thoughts that you're not good enough, or, you're not wanted someplace, or that you don't fit in, all those things are words in your mind. And the more you let them win, the more they control you.
That is something that I feel very, very strongly about. And I know that I can relate to anybody that's in that situation, because ultimately it was the words that I was using that caused me so much harm for all those years.
Mm-hmm.
When I was really down and out, it wasn't just some one big realization to change. It was the realization that I was creating the outcome by obsessing over the negative thoughts.
Yep.
And that realization sucks. Okay. Let me tell you guys right now, like that's a realization that I did not like having. And the reason is because I had to sit back and look back on the patterns in my life that exist, right? We all have them. And I can look back and I can literally tell you exactly what I was thinking and how I was feeling in those moments that led to so much pain and suffering in my own life. And literally, the thoughts and the words that I used about myself specifically created all of that. Created all of that.
Yeah.
Sure, there are circumstances outside of your control. There are. But you do have control over how you react to those circumstances. And ultimately, I found that by choosing to react in a positive manner, by choosing to see the silver lining and to look for the way, look at that way of looking at things, ultimately, what I began to find was I started getting happier, right? I started seeing different outcomes. And for me, this took a very long time. And man, I wish I'd have done this 20 years earlier. I'll tell you that. But I guess I needed all those experiences.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today without some of the experiences I've gone through. They shape us, And I think that leads into something that I wanted to talk about on communication. That, a lot of times we talk about two different ways of approaching the conversations that we have. We talk about whether we're pushing our beliefs or looking to understand other people, right? But we don't often talk about there's a higher tier to that. Sometimes you're not just looking to understand, which is mostly a mental game. Sometimes, regardless of what it is, you care how they feel because they're a person. And that's something we often do in our personal relationships. We can have a best friend who doesn't have the same political beliefs as we do, but we encounter somebody online with those exact same beliefs and they become an enemy. Oftentimes if we just realize that what we've been through shapes our beliefs, and a lot of times whatever the other person believes, that's caused by something. That's caused by some experience they've gone through. It's caused by some trauma, some lesson, some growth that they did. And a lot of times we throw all that out the window because we don't actually realize they're a person to a degree. They're this opposite viewpoint that we see online and we don't think of as a person. And I think a lot of us could do a little bit better if we just take a second and realize that this person thinks this way because they were hurt by something, or because they care about somebody else, or because their childhood or upbringing or past experiences brought them to where they are.
You know what, man, I agree completely. We talk, I know I've mentioned it many times before about humanizing the other side, humanizing each other in these conversations that we're having. And I know there's probably some new people in the group right now that are watching this, maybe seeing this for the first time, and maybe they haven't seen a whole lot of my morning thoughts yet, or gotten to know who and what we are about. And from the outside looking in, this could easily look like just another political group, right? People arguing about this or that or whatever, but there's a greater purpose to why we're doing it the way we are. There's a greater purpose behind why we are trying to gear these conversations to happen between people on different points of view. The first part of that is that there's plenty of echo chambers out there. You can go to any number of groups and hear a whole bunch of people that agree with everything you said. And for some people, that's all that they want.
Yeah.
But for those that are willing to have these conversations, see, you think you're just arguing with a conservative or a liberal, right? That's the initial thought that you have. And like Mike said, we don't even think of them as a person. But as these conversations go on, and the ladies interact in the ladies group, and the men interact in the man cave, and we read books together in the book club, and we grow this sense of actually knowing each other, we begin to humanize each other in such a way that allows us to actually see people. Now, If every time you had a conversation with somebody, you saw people and not ideology, I guarantee you we would handle it differently. So, and I know like early on, a lot of people like, I remember seeing comments, well, I thought this was a group about mental health. Well, it is. You guys just didn't realize how we were going about it was a little bit different. You didn't realize that we were really pushing towards gearing people to see each other as people first. Because look, you take 100 conservatives and 100 liberals and you line them up from each other across the way, they're going to fight. That's all they're going to do. They're going to see each other as the enemy. You take one conservative and one liberal and you put them in a conversation together in a comment thread, and over time, they'll begin to respect each other. They'll begin to see the other person. And then, next thing you know, we realize not only are we all people, but we're not all that different. And we all actually want the same damn thing. And so, yeah, I love that you brought that up. And I love that you're talking about humanizing the other side, because that is a big part of why Breathe America was set up the way that it was from day one, you guys. From day one, that's what we were working towards. This is far from just politics. And, Mike has a lot of different views than I do. But you know what? Mike is a patriot. He loves this country. I'm a patriot. I love this country. And I know that all of you in the comments and all of you on this page are patriots. You love this country. Learning from others, humanizing the other side is a huge advantage. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that we often forget that people can be a patriot because they support what this country is supposed to be, not what the government is. I think it helps to realize that a lot of people can support our troops without supporting what they're being made to do. I think it's important to note that a lot of us want the same things. We just either see different approaches to what that is, or, we have different priorities where we both, I can't think of too many people that don't care about other people getting health care, right? They just may not think it's great for the taxpayers to pay for it, but they don't disagree with people having access to health care. A lot of times they just think that it'd be better for everyone to approach it through better choice versus a social program. And those people don't realize that a social program doesn't mean the end of the world and doesn't mean a huge burden on the taxpayer if we actually do the rest of the approach that we're talking about instead of reducing it to a single point. There's a lot there where a lot gets lost in communication, and that's why we need to work on communication. I don't know, people often want the same things. We want freedom. We want the pursuit of happiness. We want people to be able to be happy and to be able to live their lives decently. We just see it coming through different means.
So, I'm curious, Mike, what are some of the tricks and some of the skills that you've learned over the years to deal with the mental health issues that you've dealt with?
Some of it's things that you already talk about. We don't necessarily have all the same terms for the things because we've learned them from different places. But a lot of the things that you talk about being in the now, that's mindfulness exercises. And I've been doing them for a long time. Being mindful of the moment is being in the now. It's the same thing. Controlling yourself, because you can't control people around you. You can't control circumstances. You can't control anything but your own actions. right? Your own actions and your own thoughts. Thoughts are harder, takes time, but it's about the power of your words, like you talk about. But it's important to realize what you can control and what you can't control. It's important to let go of things that you can't control. It's important to not give in to the voices that tell you that you can't do the things that you know you could do to improve your life. You know, there's a lot of things in there. Meditation really helps clear my mind. Aside from just normal mental health things, depression and this and that, I have a lot of pain issues. And it can get real hard to center yourself, ground yourself, get rest, get back to a good place when you're always in pain. And one of my methods for dealing with that is meditation. It helps me be able to separate myself from my pain. It doesn't make it disappear, but it allows me to set it aside. It's been so many things through the years. I'd have to talk circumstance to circumstance, you know?
Sure.
I feel
Sure,
like we always are working. We're always working to improve.
What I was hoping to happen by asking you that question was, Mike and I come from two totally different worlds, and he deals with a lot of pain, and there are issues as to why that is. You know, I've dealt with a lot of pain, and I still live with it every single day. And yet, through our struggles, we have found very, very similar ways to deal with it. You know, and I mean, this isn't to pat myself on the back or anything like that, but I have a problem with taking prescription drugs. Right, I don't like taking narcotics at all, and it's because I've been on way too many of them in my life and had some pretty close calls with full blown addiction issues. When all I was doing was taking it exactly as I was told. Some of that stuff is gnarly, but anyways, I don't take anything, and I think most of you guys know, I had a pretty big surgery about 1.5 years ago on my right foot, and I didn't take a single narcotic post surgery, not one, not a single Norco, not a Percocet, not an Oxy, nothing, not even Tylenol. But I didn't need it. So I'm able to control my mind. I'm able to control my thoughts, you know, and I'm able to breathe in such a way that allows me to focus on other things. Yes, the pain's there. Don't get me wrong. The pain is there, but I'm no yogi. I'm no special, you know, spiritual guru or anything like that. I'm just a regular guy. And I figured out how to do this out of necessity. And it's something that I think anyone can do. So if you're dealing with pain and those kind of things, I seriously challenge you to take a look at it if you want to be done with it, with those things. I know it's something I didn't want in my life anymore just because of the risk of it. And even when I broke my back, I didn't take narcotics at all. I would take Percocet before I went to sleep because I could not sleep. That was the only time I would take anything the whole time. So for all that time that I was recovering, I let that pain teach me. I let that pain tell me when I'd gone too far. I let that pain guide me to how much I could do every single day. A lot of times we like to be comfortable. Our minds like to be comfortable. And unfortunately, that desire for comfort weakens us. Allow your body to do the things that your body does because it's trying to teach you. All you got to do is listen.
Yep.
Do you have any experiences like that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got a wide range of experiences dealing with a lot of drugs. I was not the person that I am now 20 years ago. I'm, you know, in my teenage years, I was all sorts of messed up. But I've seen myself deal with drug issues. I've seen plenty of friends go through it. I've lost friends to it. I've seen plenty of friends come out the other side and are happily married with kids and living their life now. And a lot of it is how you deal with it and making the choice. Sometimes it takes a lot for us to wake up to our own actions. And unfortunately, that's what I went through. It took a lot for me to get out of the bad place that I was in.
No, I get that. I've been there, in relating to people. I think that's one of the most unique things about our team and everybody on the backside of Breathe America that's come together. We all have been through it in one way or another. Every
Not
single one,
but something. We've been through some heavy stuff.
Right. I don't think I've ever seen a group of people more well-rounded and yet more tested in life. Yeah. And the fact that we all came together is absolutely unbelievable. It's one of the reasons I think that what we're doing here is bigger than all of us, because there's just too many things that just keep happening that amaze me. And the stuff that we have all collectively been through, I know individually, like there are so many people that didn't come out of it. I've often looked back at the moment where I made a decision, right? And I've talked about this several times now. My decision was to not be defined by the things that had happened to me. And it was an angry decision. I was mad. Straight up, I was mad. Like I wanted revenge on life somehow, some way. And I needed to find that fighting spirit, because I was very, very close to the end of all that I could take. And it turns out that I had just enough fight left in me. And here I am, right? Years and years and years later, but here I am. So the thing I want you guys to know ultimately is, you are not the things that have happened to you. They are lessons in your life that point you in a different direction, a better direction. And I know Mike's story. Mike knows my story, and we're not here to necessarily share stories or swap any of that stuff with you guys. But I'm gonna tell you, Mike, like straight up, I have the utmost respect for you and what you've overcome. You guys might not know this, and you probably never will, and that's okay. But I'm telling you, that man has all my respect, and he should have all of yours as well.
I don't know about all that, but
it's true, buddy. It's true.
Like you said, almost all of us on the mod team, we've been through something deep. And I think sometimes that's what it takes to build strong people. People need to rebuild themselves sometimes, and that makes somebody stronger than you ever could have been without doing it. And I have respect for everyone behind the scenes. I think it's important to note that sometimes you got to go through stages. No matter where you are in life, you're probably not done evolving. For me, like I said, I was not a good person when I was a teenager. I was angry at the world. I had good qualities. I protected my friends fiercely, but I did so violently. I wasn't a great person. I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of damage. And as I worked on that, I focused on getting rid of that anger. And I internalized it. And it turned into depression. And, that's half of why I like to connect with people on what makes them feel productive. I had a post a week a couple of weeks ago about hobbies. And hobbies are something that are really important to a lot of people because it gives them some satisfaction and some purpose in life that isn't deemed down on them by somebody else. You build that, you create that, you put your essence into something. And that is a good way to deal with trauma. It's a good way to deal with emotion. And
Productive way.
And that's one reason why I want to start the hobby group, which is coming soon, people. Just got to get other things done first. But yeah, it's an important thing, and I think a lot of people use it for healing, use hobbies for healing. I know a whole bunch of people that garden, and it's what reconnects them with life. You know, there's a lot of people that are able to work out their anxiety through something like the technicalities of a very physical project, the mathematics of measuring or engineering something. You know, a lot of people can burn out their energy other ways doing something productive using various hobbies. So that's why I talk about those things so much, because that's another technique that's been very useful in my journey.
So what are your hobbies, Mike?
It might be easier to list ones that I don't have. I write, I draw, I do 3D art, digital art, I do ceramics. I've dabbled in painting, but it's not really my thing. Photography, which I ended up turning into, a business, and I do coding in video games. I do woodworking. I design things constantly. I work with epoxy and resins. I do 3D printing. I do a lot.
Nicole says that her peaceful time is watering her grass at night, like she's doing right now. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Like I said, I know a lot of people that use gardening to reconnect them with life and just kind of heal and be their nice little quiet place. It's not too different.
Kristen, he's asleep. Leave him alone. She's asking me to show everybody the puppy. Look, do you see him? He's right there. Sleeping. Lazy. Very happy dog.
Yep.
My dog, honestly, is one of my hobbies. It's one of those things that helped me a lot. He's 3.5 years old now, and 3.5 years ago, believe it or not, I was in a very, very different place. It's amazing how much you can change, and having him and training him and working with him every day has been therapy in and of itself. And so there are lots and lots of different things that you guys can do, whether it's gardening, whether it's your dog. Mike, puppy tour. Kristen's calling for it. Now she wants to see yours.
Mine is also sleeping at the foot of my bed.
But yeah, you guys, there are lots of different things that you can use, and hobbies is a great one. Reading is a great one. Learning to meditate. Now, I think we should talk about meditation, because I get a lot of questions about meditation, right? And I've encouraged a lot of people to start with guided meditations. There's a reason for that, you guys. Guided meditations are good. But there's something I want to clarify. That's not actually meditation. So it's called guided meditation. There's a lot of things that are called meditation that are not actually meditation. Meditation is literally about nothingness. It's about training your brain to literally turn off completely, to where any interruption is just something that you notice and you let go by, right? It's just not even there. It no longer affects you at all. So when you're really amped up and you're in the middle of your day, and I've talked about meditative states and things like that, like living your life like that. But the reality is the best time to meditate is when your mind is calm already, right? Because then you have the least amount of stuff to try to quiet and to try to shut down. But yes, meditation is about nothingness. Real meditation is about turning your brain to the silent mode. There's a whole lot of comments blowing up, man, about you being a single guy. Just so you know, like everybody's trying to sell you right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you knew that was coming, though, didn't you? John listed a whole bunch of really great qualities and then said, and ladies, he's single.
John, you're selling me out too. Here, I knew Billy and Carrie and Kristen were probably going to be in there.
Oh, yeah.
But come
Billy
on, John. Come on, man.
Yeah, John too. Can't trust nobody, can you? But yeah, so I've been meditating actively for over 3 years now. Oh, Chris is even jumping in on it, just so you know.
Bro. How are you going to do me like this, bro?
So yeah, 3 years. And I think the first year and a half of that, I probably never actually meditated. And somewhere between that year and a half, 2 year mark, I started flirting with it. Okay. Like I'd actually be able to get to that place of nothingness. Right. And then in the last year, honestly, it's really kind of come into its own. And it's just changed. And it's a skill that I have now. But that's the that's the timeline it took me. And for some people, it might take months. For some people, it might take decades. This is an art, a practice that you have to work at all the time. But guided meditation is a great way to start as far as learning poses, learning how to breathe, and being guided to this place where you will feel at peace. Now, that level of peace is one thing. The next level of peace that you can obtain when you really get to nothingness, that's where weird, like it's not even weird stuff. It's this incredible sense of calm that comes over you when you're able to literally silence everything. Apparently Billy's taking applications. We're talking serious stuff here, girls. Serious stuff. And all you're trying to do is take applications for dating Mike. Jeez. I remember Amy says, I remember the first live I ever saw Patrick in, all the comments were about him being single. And I'm like, who's Patrick? Who's Patrick? That is a funny story. And Tammy's the one that started it. And Tammy is hilarious. So if you happen to see Tammy and I in the comments, you will see a lot of who's Tammy, who's Patrick. Thanks for reminding me about that, Amy. I'm happy to know that my name and being single isn't talked about all the time anymore. This was a bad idea. See, Mike and I are the only two single people on the team, and they are all about hooking us up. It's not cool, you guys. We don't like it. Let's see. So let's get into the Q&A. We're halfway through the show now. Let's get into the Q&A. What are some questions that you guys would like for us? No, we are not auctioning off Mike for a date. Well, maybe. I mean, if it's for a good cause, I might consider it. Sorry,
if you're
bro.
expecting me to agree, it's not coming.
Hey, if it makes you go, hey, just to be fair, they've been talking about auctioning me off for a while now, and I keep telling them no too. Not doing it. Join the book club and read The Power of Now with us. Yes, that's something I do want to touch on. So I'm going to be going live in the book club next week, maybe later this week, but I think next week for sure. And we're going to start The Power of Now. And For anybody that doesn't know why that is the very first book, it is because this book is the cornerstone for how I rebuilt my life. This book has had a profound impact on me, and I want to share it with as many people as I can because of how impactful it has been on my life. So, if you're interested, join the book club and read that book with us. I am looking forward to reading it like the 10th time. I think it's amazing. So, and I learned, and it's one of those amazing books that you keep learning from it every time.
So I haven't read it yet, but I have it. Going to be with the book club.
Nice. I've got that. I've got a book on mindfulness that I think you recommended. That I've started and I've been reading. So,
well, I mean, it's very related concepts. The Power of Now is about mindfulness. It's just in different words.
Well, and one of the things that I find interesting about, the Power of Now, mindfulness, all these teachings, what's really funny is they go back a very, very long way. These same teachings have been around for thousands of years. And it makes me feel like, man, why didn't somebody let me know sooner? Like, people have figured this out many a times already, and inevitably, like when you read The Power of Now, you get to know a little bit about the author's story and how he came to this. The guy, his name's Eckhart Tolle, and what's interesting is, he had to suffer his way through this in order to get this realization, in order to find this this moment in his life. And why are we not teaching this to children? Is what I want to know. Like, as a society, why haven't we come to this conclusion that generally, like, these teachings about being present and mindfulness and all these things, we should be teaching our kids. Maybe someday we'll push for that. I don't know. I think it'd be important.
I think
most of the questions right now suck. They're all about they're all about what do we like in women? What are we looking for?
Oh, God. Is there any comments from people that aren't people on the mod team?
Ladies, look at Mike's muscle. You should have put your arms up, man. Billy was all over that.
No, I can't even put my arms up on camera.
No arms. Somebody says, Nicole says, Patrick, right after you told me about it, I told my oldest about it, and she said her therapist just told her to read it. Yeah, it is a book that therapists do recommend. It's a New York Times bestseller. It sold over 5 million copies. It's a very good book, you guys. And I got it, like, straight up, I would not be sitting here today if I hadn't come across that book when I did. Literally, like, I wouldn't be where I'm at. Bedtime Stories with Patrick and Mike. Bedtime Stories with Patrick and Mike and The Power of Now. Let's auction them both off for charity. 2 for 1. All right, you guys, come on. This is getting a little bit ridiculous. Maybe I should clarify. I'm perfectly happy with my life the way that it is. This is a choice I've made for me that's best for me, and I'm pretty sure Mike's in the same place. Oh, dude, I so almost just brought up the fact that, like, the thing you were saying in the group in the back end the other day about, cuddling. Oh, shit, I just said it.
You're selling me out now again, too, huh? Okay, so one of my requirements for the women out there is to be a good cuddler. While we're on it, I also want you to be a good conversationalist and to like deep conversation. And to care about other people. And that's pretty much my list. Nice eyes isn't bad either.
Eyes are great, aren't they? John wants to know, do we feel that there is similarities between prayer and meditation? How do you feel about the power of attraction or the power of attraction? I'm going to assume you're talking about the law of attraction, and I'm not showing you my abs. Go ahead, Mike. You field that question. That's a great question.
Yeah, I do believe that there is a big similarity. Whether we want to take the God is in everything approach, or whether we want to take the, it's a mental state that you can activate. Both are techniques to do so. It's either a technique to access God or to access a mental state. Either way, they're very related.
I agree. I think prayer and meditation are very, very similar. I have some interesting thoughts on that, though. And I don't know that this is the place for that conversation. I think that's more for the spiritual wellness place. But I do feel that the purpose of prayer is to accomplish the same thing as the purpose of meditation. Now, it's kind of like how we have different ways to get to a political end. It's kind of the same thing. And I've read a lot of really old teachings on prayer and things that come out like same time around the time that the Bible was written and those kind of things. And there's a way to pray, and then there's a way to meditate. And when you look at the very old teachings on how to pray, they are literally teaching you to meditate. So yeah, I do think they are very, very closely related. And I also think that the Bible makes it pretty clear that Jesus was a meditator. They often talk, or there's several different references to him pondering before a sermon, or him, gathering. Just the way that they word it points towards meditation. So I think that they go hand in hand. What were you going to say, Mike?
I think it's also worth mentioning that they, in essence, are the same thing. They are different forms of putting out your desires, requests, wishes, positive energy, and care out into the world. It's just a different way of doing so that happens to be almost the same.
Now, Chris, you asked a question in the comments. I don't know what that even means, so I'm afraid to even put it up. So I'm not going to put it up. So either write it out, it's some long abbreviation, I don't know, and then followed by the word lifestyle. I'm scared. Let's see what other things we got in here. Ooh. Each of us, what was one of your God moments?
Okay, so that's hard for me to answer because I'm not religious in the normal sense. I have a odd belief structure that ties into spirituality, that we are the universe is God, we are all connected, we are all the same thing. But when you look at the universe, and there's so many things that ripple through it. There's algorithms to the universe itself. Like if you look at the golden ratio, it's in almost every living thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's in non-living things. It's everywhere. And I think it's things like that in which we were created in God's image. We are the universe manifesting within the rules of how things manifest in the universe. And whether you want to call it a higher power, God, whatever, I've just had a very unique view on it. So I don't know I can properly answer that question.
So I'll say this. I think everybody knows by now that I had a broken back at one point in time. So before I broke my back, the weeks before I broke my back, my ex-wife had left, decided that she wanted a divorce. I had a job lined up in North Dakota to hit the oil fields as a pipe fitter. It was a good job too. And I had a couple other big jobs lined up. And I was going to pack my shit and leave and go do what I'm very good at doing, which is going out and building stuff, making money, right? And literally the Friday, I broke my back on a Friday at work, the same Friday, and I did it early in the day. I was dragging up that day. Nobody knew this. And what that means is I was going to quit my job that day and hit the road. I was leaving that weekend. And I literally look at that as a very, very powerful God moment. I was not meant to leave. And I'm a very special kind of stubborn. And I think I've told you guys that before. And anything short of what happened to me, and I would have still gone. I'd have showed up with a broken arm. I'd have showed up with a broken leg. It wouldn't have mattered. I'd have showed up. So I think that's probably one of the most profound God moments in my life, where I think, and I'm like Mike. I don't care what you want to call it, God, the universe, creator, whatever, stepped in and said, nope, you're staying right where you're at. So for me, that was one of those. And John, yeah, I'll go there. I'm not afraid to have the conversations. I'll say it. So ooh, Amy, 15 tornadoes tore through your area and didn't touch your home. That is awesome. That is awesome. Guys, so Q&A works best when you ask us questions, just so you know. Like,
so what did John say?
A lot.
If we don't have questions, what did John say?
Yeah, let's poke at what John said. So he just said, when we were talking about the similarities between prayer and meditation, he's like, oh man, you went there. You're brave. Then he called us brave bastards. Then going their own way. Love this question. Now he just called us badasses. Thanks, John. So Amy just says a few years earlier, a night tornado on Halloween touched down in my backyard, and my home was spared then too. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's a close call.
I've never seen a tornado in real life, but I got to tell you, if I saw one, I would definitely be watching it, because I think they're amazing looking. And I would probably be that guy that got too close to it, and whoop, there I went.
Yeah, I've seen one when I was a lot younger. I lived in Kansas, and I want to say we took a short trip up to Nebraska for something, and that's where I saw one.
Oh, man. Mike, we've got a question now. Kristen's not messing around. Here you go, Mike. What does Breathe America mean to you? Now, this, I want to preference this question for you, because I think everybody should know. Mike's one of the last people to join the team. He came in with John after the team had already pretty much been established, and we needed a little bit more help. And Mike has a very, very different philosophy for us. And so in our conversations and getting to know each other, like, I know that Mike didn't trust me at all when he first met me. And it's interesting to see how this has developed. So I want you guys to know where he started and where he is now. So there you go, Mike. What does Breathe America mean to you?
For me, the biggest thing I could say it is to me is potential. A potential for a whole lot of good. Also, the potential to just become another echo chamber. But none of us want to see that happen, and that's the important thing. That's what'll keep it from happening. But on the good side, it can be so much more than what a lot of people think of it as now. For me, it's a lot of hope. It's a support network. It's a place to learn better communication skills. It's not just about politics. It's not even close to just about politics. It's about improving ourselves, improving our relationships, about learning techniques to deal with trauma and hardships and people you don't like and viewpoints you don't like. And, it's potential.
It's actually a really great answer, bro. I think everybody knows what it means to me, but this is my This is my sanctuary. I want to create something that allows people to grow and change, and I want to do it in a way that allows you guys to experience firsthand the kind of like profound change that I have gone through in my life. Um, that's the plan. That's what I want. But more than anything, we're a family, and I see that more and more every single day. I see it in the mods in the back. I see it in the in the group and the conversations that are happening. I see it all the time, and I think it's awesome. And I see, I've been paying attention a lot since the very beginning. I know a bunch of you guys that in the very beginning you had a lot to say. You had a lot to say. You were coming out with some hate. You were defending some positions. You were aggressive, and now look at you. Like now you're complimenting people. Your comments are constructive. You're still holding your positions, which I think is great. But your communication skills have changed drastically, and you're not fighting with other people. And that I think is amazing. I love seeing how people change through this process. And I mean, we're 6 weeks in, man. Imagine when we're 6 years in. Like it's gonna be incredible. All right, so we've got some questions now. Chris wants to know, what is your biggest fears, personal fears, not your kids or your family being harmed, but your personal fears. All right.
Another hard one because it's complicated. I like to challenge my fears and I like to conquer them. So it hasn't always been the same thing. When I was a kid, I had an irrational fear of heights. And then I jumped off of really tall slides and got a job where I climbed telephone poles for a living. Not afraid of heights anymore. I used to have a really, really big fear of rejection and a fear of failure. And then you bust out of that by trying enough things and failing enough times to where you realize that the most successful people are the people that fail the most because they don't stop trying. And you try enough at getting accepted that you understand that nobody is 100% accepted, and sometimes you're only meant to be accepted by the people who you're right for, and that's friends, that's intimate relationship, that's sometimes even our own families. Like, me and my family life hasn't always been great, and that's half of what creates fear of rejection, is when your own family doesn't even love you, or it feels that way when you're young and you just don't understand that maybe they don't know how to show it correctly, or maybe they're so wrapped up with something else they don't even realize the effect they're having on you. And again, these are things that learning to communicate helps. So right now, I don't know what my biggest fear is, because I think if I was able to put my finger on it, I'd be fighting it.
I got a very different answer. I don't like snakes. Snakes creep me out. They scare the hell out of me. I don't like them. And I don't like sharks. And I don't like deep water that I can't see the bottom of. They're all very irrational. I know exactly why I have all of them, and I'm not willing to challenge them at all. I don't want to be around snakes. I don't want to swim in the ocean, although I do want to swim off a sailboat. I don't know, but I want it to be in shallow water. Weird things like that. But those are the three things. I don't like sharks. I don't like deep water, and I really, really dislike snakes. They creep me out. So yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. John, this question is a very in-depth question, and I don't feel like sharing my first experience with real mental trauma or the age in which I was when it happened. I was young, and how I got through it. Lifetime, still working on it. Deal with it every. Those are these. The traumas that happen to us early in life, you guys, they stick with us the worst. They're the hardest to get rid of. They're the hardest to deal with. We carry that with us the longest because it becomes a part of our identity, in a sense. And But as far as what would I say to myself if I could go back then and have that conversation with this knowledge, just tell that little kid he's going to be all right. It's okay. I mean, there's nothing else to say. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave that one at that. Do I have any plans to go to more protests? Funny you should ask, Billy. I think Billy wants an announcement. Actually, I do plan on going to another protest, and it actually might be Mike and I together at this protest, depending on how it works out. So September 17th, there's supposed to be a siege on the White House in D.C. So we are looking to make sure that A, it's valid, and B, that figure out how to get me there, because there's some financial constraints there. But yes, if we can make it work, yeah, I will be in. If they're gonna protest the White House for 50 days starting September 17th, I want to be there for the start of it. So I'm thinking I might be there for the first 2, maybe 3 days of it, and then I'll have to come home. But that is my next protest that I have planned right now at this moment is DC, the White House, and I've never been there, but I gotta say, I do think Morning Thoughts are gonna be like badass in front of the Lincoln Monument. I don't know. Anybody agree?
I definitely do.
I think that'd be awesome. No, spiders don't scare me. Lots of people don't like snakes. Agree, trauma gets heavy to carry. You heard it first, John. Patrick, that's why I worry about my daughter, because she was young when I told you what was happening. Yes. So, Nicole, with your story, she was young, but she was a lot older than the age I'm talking about. And obviously, I'm not going to get into any details of it here, but she's old enough to understand, and she's going to be okay. I need you to know that. And you are doing everything right to help make sure that happens. Oh, I didn't mean to click that up. Will you make a Breathe America yard sign? That's actually an awesome idea that I don't think any of us have thought of.
So, just an idea, but can we make one that's political and one that's non-political? Because I'd really like a John Lee 2020.
Hey, he hasn't won the debate yet. He's got to beat me in the debate before we're actually going to run John Lee. It might be Wickard 2020. You never know. Oh, wait, I'm just waiting. The 17-second delay before John's like, blah! They'll probably be like, send me the link. Hey, that's a good question. Do you guys think we should do a mock political debate between me and John? How do you guys feel about that? We're not getting any debates this year, which kind of sucks. You guys want us to do a debate, a live debate, some special, maybe a Saturday night or something? Just idea. Something we've been tossing around a lot. I know Kristen really wants to do it. John's comment is, I'm running for the real POTUS.
Yeah, he only needs 1,000 signatures in Idaho to run.
Mm-hmm.
To be on the ballot.
Hey, John, we should have started this a couple months earlier. We could have got 1,000 signatures. I know quite a few people. Debates, yes. 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 That would be fun. Yes, yes. There was something else. Will Breathe America ever host their own rally for sanity? Oh yeah. We are definitely going to be doing rallies and get-togethers and big things, and I want to do big old barbecues in the park, and I want to get our families together, and I want to spread all the joy and happiness that we can spread with each other. And I don't know I know we're probably going to start doing it here in Boise, but or Meridian where I live, but I would love to get a big event somewhere in like the central part of the country where it's kind of like the halfway point for everybody. And those of you lucky enough to live in the middle, you lucked out, and do a really giant Breathe America rally. But honestly, I want to hold off until we can have like 10,000 members there, right? That's literally what I'd love to see. 10,000 Breathe America supporters show up in the middle of the country to show that we are tired of the system being the way that it is, which is ultimately would be amazing. And so that's why we need you guys to help us grow. I'm not telling you to go invite your entire friends list, but the people that could use us, talk to them, let them know what we are, and let's grow this piece by piece. I'd be in trouble if I didn't mention the fact that right now, by doing just that and talking to a couple of your friends and letting them know what we are, and if they join, if you get 2 people to join that way, you get you get entered to win $50. So it's a contest that we're trying to see what the results look like. We're going to try a lot of other things as far as growing goes, but I personally feel that word of mouth is the best. So yeah, talk to your friends, talk to your family, bring people to us. Anybody that you think that would benefit from Breathe America, please bring. We've got people that are saying, go ahead.
I'd just like to add, you could also go to our YouTube and subscribe to that and help us out there, because we kind of need a few more followers before we can do some of the customization and branding on the channel and just kind of get it geared up the way we'd like to.
Yeah, subscribing and ringing the bell on YouTube will give you notifications for every time that I go live, because this is streaming there right now too. And I'm sure there's a few people in the comments. By the way, John Lee, the comments are now all on. So all this time where we had problems with the comments, that was my fault. Sorry, guys. I didn't know no better. So I can actually change where I see the comments from. I get to pick from all the locations, or I can pick all, which it's now all. And I don't know, John might have been in here playing around with it and did it himself, but I saw it today, or was it Mike? Somebody did it. Probably wasn't me, but I get all your comments now. So no matter where you're at, you can comment, and I will see all of your comments.
It was probably John.
It was probably John. Thank you, John. Love you, brother. If I could meet someone famous, who would it be? Ooh, that's a good question, Rhonda. You know what? I'm going to say it. I know exactly who I'd want to meet right now in today's world right now, and it would be Donald Trump. I'd like to have a chat with him. I would love to pick that man's brain and see if he is a completely just out there lunatic that everybody, like so many people think, or if he's smarter than we think we are, or than we think he is, or if he's really just a guy. Like I don't know. I'm curious. There's so many things about him that I don't get, and I'd love to be able to have a conversation with him. I think that would be a great time. But I'd probably just it'd probably just be a whole lot of him telling me he's great. Amy, yes, I do like cats. I have a cat. She's asked a lot of times, and I keep missing it. But I saw it that time, so we get it. Who would it be for you?
Probably somebody who's contributing a lot to society. Like Hayao Miyazaki would be awesome to sit down with and have a chat. He's a director that I really like, and he runs Studio Ghibli, which are known for a lot of their animated children's movies. But very interesting guy.
Well, I had a thought, and then it was gone. It was John. Thanks, John. John did it. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it would just be a really interesting conversation. I've never had a conversation with a sitting president. That would be cool. I've never had a conversation with any president, so any of those would be cool. Even like I'd love to sit down and talk to Barack Obama. Like I mean, I know what his presidency was all about. I'd love to hear his thoughts now that it's over too. Like anybody in that position, I think would be fun to have a conversation with.
Here's the only reason I disagree with you. I don't think I could have a conversation with Donald Trump and ask him real questions without getting dragged out of the room.
That'd be all right, Mike. That'd be a good story too. So, I mean, I'd sign up for that as well. Kristen wants to know what kind of food we like. I'm a big fan of the food you eat. So, eat it. Like if it's edible, I'll eat it, except for tree nuts, because that means I might die. So don't feed me hazelnuts and stuff like that. Some woman put hazelnut powder, like ground up hazelnuts in cookies one time, and I ate one, and I almost didn't make it. Like I barely got to. I literally was collapsing as I went to the hospital. Like my face was all swelled up, my throat was all like just locked up, and like I parked my truck like right up on the door and just staggered in the front door of the hospital and just fell into a woman's arms. So I don't want hazelnuts.
I'm pretty easy to please as far as food goes. I'll take almost anything as long as it's not spaghetti. I've had way too much spaghetti in my life. Me and my brothers were latchkey kids, and that's all one of them knew how to cook.
That's so funny. Kristen wants to know if we can crack an egg. Crack an egg on my head when we reach 3,000 followers? What? We'll do it on Mike's slick head. It'll wipe right off.
Should give it a nice sheen.
Okay, guys, we are over the hour mark, and we try to keep these things pretty close to here. So we'll ask. We'll do a couple more questions though. Yes, I'm allergic to cilantro too. How do you feel about The Patriarch by John Lee?
Of course, he wants to push us into a political direction. So here we go.
Of course he does.
One of the worst pieces of legislation ever. It's one of the pieces of legislation that was pushed to take away our freedoms in the name of safety, whether that threat was legitimate or not.
I think the Patriot Act, smart political move on their part, really was. We were thoroughly distracted. We weren't paying attention to anything, and we were all for it without even reading the dang thing. So, I mean, well played. Like they got us on that one. And anybody it's what are we, 20 years down the road now, 18 years down the road now, whatever it is. Any one of you guys want to go and take a look at it and read it and see what it's all about, and you'll probably agree that we probably never should have let that one go through. That goes against a lot of the principles of what America's supposed to be. Kristen wants to know what dream vacation.
That's hard to narrow down to one.
Not for me.
One of the things on my bucket list is to see as many UNESCO sites as I can before I die.
UNESCO
World Heritage Sites. Basically, almost anything that has been important to human development of various cultures is on the list. So any ruins, anything like that, they're all UNESCO World Heritage Sites.
Mine's simple. Fiji. I want to go to Fiji. I also want to go to I want to see the pyramids, and I want to see like the Mayan temples and monuments and cities. And I mean, I love. Somebody else said Fiji. I wonder if that person knows who I am. It says Facebook user, because I've been wanting to go to Fiji for a long time. Interesting question. If you could reverse one law, what would it be? Toby, asking that right after we talk about the Patriot Act isn't fair.
That's not even what I'd go after. I'd go after bullshit drug legalization or criminalizations.
Put down the guns. Put down the guns. We don't need to go back down that road. Specific law. Yeah. Voter ID law nationwide. That's one I'd go after. I can't change it, but I would make that. That would be, if I wouldn't reverse it, I'd make that a law. I think that is a really, 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 really important issue. So, I mean, excuse me, I just think that, voters should have to show ID and prove that they are capable of voting in our elections. I know it sounds like a crazy concept to me, but do you have a firm belief on specific brands for certain foods? Like, will you only eat one brand? Really, John? So is there any, like, do you have a specific brand that you only buy, or are you one of those guys that doesn't matter? Pepsi. not down with Coke?
It just, I don't know. In one, they're not quite the same. They're really close, but I can tell the difference in a taste test because of like the carbonation texture and like stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. It's a stupid little taste.
All right, Pepsi, if you're watching this, now's your chance. You get in here before we get Coke. I'm just saying, sponsor Breathe America. I don't have any specific. Well, I mean, sure, everybody's got their preferences, right? But I'm not one of those persons that has to buy that specific brand. Why? All right, let's have this talk, Kristen. Why do I eat toast when I eat cereal? Because I like it. She thinks that's really weird. We were talking late one night, and it was one of those nights where I decided to go grab a bowl of cereal, and then I made toast. And so I'm eating cereal, and I'm eating toast, and I'm eating cereal, and I'm eating toast. I do it with oatmeal, too.
I'm backing her up on this one.
I even put oatmeal on my toast and eat it.
No, see, here's the problem with this. When you have toast, it prevents you from having more cereal.
Well, maybe I don't need any more cereal, bro. Maybe that's why I do it. Maybe I'm trying to like curb how much of that sugary goodness I eat. Mountain Dew, Cokes. All right, guys. Rhonda, thank you, Rhonda. Rhonda likes toast with her oatmeal too. It's good. It's good. It's really good. Kristen thinks it's weird. Put your cereal in yogurt. What? Kristen, you eat cereal with yogurt? I don't even know. On that thought, you guys, let's go ahead and close it up, Mike. What do you got?
I just pretty much want to say that I love every one of you breathers out there. I've seen a lot of good conversations. I've seen a lot of people step up or adjust how they're talking to somebody, or come out of their shell a little bit. I'm proud of how a lot of people are doing. Some of the new ones might need a little bit of work, but they'll get there, and I want us to all have patience with them. I want us to have patience with people that may not be able to express themselves as eloquently as others. I want us to remember that they're human beings and to at least try to care about their viewpoint, or the fact that they have their viewpoint for a reason. Care because they're another human being. You don't have to agree, but care.
Yeah, I'd just like to finish up with a few more of my own thoughts on that. I'm ridiculously proud of all of you here that are involved, and the growth that I have seen from so many of you is absolutely inspiring. Now, as we grow and as people come in, we've talked about this a little bit before. They're not going to know the way we do things, and it's our job to teach them. Right? We're not just going to run them out of here just because they come in here a little rough around the edges, you guys. This is about helping everybody grow. And I want to help as many people as possible. And I know everybody on the team wants to help as many people as possible. And it's never about what side of the line they're on. We want to help everybody, conservatives, liberals, Americans, all of them. Now, that being said, it helps a lot when you guys help. When in the comments you guys are helping to show them how we do things. When we don't react, when those of you that have been here a while don't react to something that's said that's super aggressive. And so I see that a lot with you guys, and I love it. I love that about you guys. And it's really been, this is the greatest thing I have ever been a part of. And I've been a part of some pretty great things, you guys. And the potential that Mike talked about, where we're trying to take it, the direction we want it to go. Guys, this is so much bigger than all of us. And this is the one thing I can tell you that I want to do and build for the rest of my life. And I'm a guy that gets tired of a job within a few months, and I'm dragging up to go to the next one. And I want to do this for forever. I want to keep talking to you guys. I want to keep building Breathe America. I want to grow our family, and I want to shed the light on the fact that we are Americans first. That's what I want. And you guys inspire me every single day to keep doing this. So I want to thank you. I want to continue to encourage you like I do every single time we talk. Be a little better tomorrow than you were today, okay? Find a way to be better. Build yourself up. Take care of each other and be kind to each other and be kind to yourself. I love you guys. And we will see you on Thursday for another Live with Breathe America show. And I will see you guys in the morning for some morning thoughts. Have a wonderful night, you guys.